If you want to get the top odds every time, bet with Top Sport's Same Game Multi. Top Sport. Feel the excitement.
Gamble responsibly.
Well, week 1 of the finals is done and dusted, and we're looking forward to week 2. Knockout footy from here. We cannot wait. As I introduce my main man, Mr. Jared Burton. Run on side again, mate.
Run on side again, mate. Just holding strong. I am holding strong.
Someone's got to do it. Mr. Cherry should be joining us a bit later on, hopefully. He's just running a bit behind schedule at the moment. Good first week of finals, mate?
Yeah, it was good. I'd heard something, I think it was one of the critics, Phil Gould or someone like that, some lunatic, said there was only one game that wasn't final standard, and that was the Cronulla Cowboys game. But in my eyes, I thought that was one of the better ones. But
it was a good game.
But apart from that, yeah, mate, really good start. And unfortunately, what's there, 3 weeks left, and she's done for another.
At least there's a World Cup. That's
yeah.
Only saving grace. A couple of big games this weekend, mate, and to help us preview those, we're going to welcome in our main man up north, Tristan Merlehan, CEO of Top Sport, and he joins us on the phone right now. G'day, Tristan.
G'day, boys. How you going?
Well, mate, we're really well. How you going up there?
Yeah, good. Just ticking along. Got as you say, exciting weekend of football just gone, and we've got a couple of good games this weekend, good racing, so it's an exciting time of the year.
Certainly is. The spring blossoms are out. The hay fever's nice and strong, and plenty of Group 1s and some finals footy. Fantastic season of the year, that's for sure. Mate, we'll hit you with our top sport, top that moment of the round. For me, it's pretty easy. It's ice-cold Val Holmes with the 43-metre drop goal to secure the win there against the Sharkies after 93 minutes or something crazy like that. So it was a good game. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, well, I've gone in the exact same game, but I've gone Jason Taumalolo's bullet pass to Petahiku to set him up. What's that? Probably 30 metres on the fly. Now, for a right-hander, I'm right-handed, so what would be right to left is my strongest. He went left to right, which and for that to be hit him on the chest for a big boy. Generally, a forward would tuck that under the, someone tuck that under the wing, bang straight up the guts and try and reset the play. But mate, he had the initiative and the tenacity to put that through the hands. A bullet pass 30 metres, hit Petahiku on the chest, and look at the result.
Ended up scoring. Some big moments of the round, mate. Anything that tickled your fancy?
Yeah, well, I just thought I thought it was the best and the worst of the intensity in the South Roosters game. It was an absolutely fantastic affair. Obviously, there was a lot of fire in the belly with a lot of the boys, and I thought some of the sin bins were potentially not warranted, but then, by the same token, they had to try to keep the boys under control. So I thought just the intensity of that game. But in terms of out of the two options you guys have picked, I thought that was probably, in my view, the moments of the round as well. I thought that game was an absolutely phenomenal one. I'd probably just have to slightly edge the Taumalolo pass, just because if that doesn't happen, then we don't get to see Val kick the field goal at all. So I just thought it was a fantastic game and a great. I thought all 4 games were the highest quality first week of finals I've seen for a long time.
Yeah, it was definitely finals footy. You could tell it was just a different type of footy. Raiders getting up against Storm. Some great games throughout the weekend. Mate, let's get into week 2 of the finals and a couple of big games, knockout elimination games, of course. First one, Parramatta up against the Raiders. Where's the money going? Who are the punters liking on this one?
Yeah, to start the week, the money's come for Parramatta. I think that was more due to the fact that there might have been some doubt over whether Mitch Moses would line up and play, which obviously he has been named in that side. So that was probably just a confirmation of him coming in, saw the market shift from $1.55 to $1.50, and the Raiders go from $2.50 out to $2.65. The market's gone from 5.5 to 6.5. I just get the feeling there'll be a push for the plus late. I just think the way the first week of finals went, I think this game's going to be a really tight affair. Probably think Parramatta maybe slightly edge it, but a try handicap in a game if last weekend's to go by, you'd probably rather be with a plus, I think.
Yeah, what's the over-unders made on that one? Is there going to be lots of points scored, I reckon?
41.5, so it's on the lower end of the scale. It was similar to what the margin or the totals were set in the first week, so 41.5. So it's expecting to be a nice, tight, low-scoring game.
Who are you picking, Jared?
Gee, I don't know.
Spunter?
Yeah, I'm obviously I'm a big fan of Para, especially being at home and being my side also. But at the same time, the Raiders got the wind in the sail, and they beat Melbourne convincingly last week. So it wasn't just the spur of the moment. So tricky game, but I'm going to stick strong with Para playing at home.
Fair call. And next game, mate, Sharkies up against the Rabbitohs. Both coming off, like you said, some high-intensity games last week, 93 minutes for the Sharkies and that emotion-filled game between the Roosters and the Bunnies. How's that one shaping up?
Yeah, this one's been a bit of movement both ways, actually. We opened it at $1.75, the Rabbits $2.05, the Sharkies, and it got almost into pick'em. It got to $1.95, the Sharks, $1.87, the Bunnies. So early money for the Sharks, and now there's just been a pushback to South Sydney, back out into $1.81. The Sharkies $2.02, one flat the line, and 42.5 the total points. So I am surprised the totals are a similar number to the other game. I just felt that the way both of those first two games played out, you just get the feeling there might be more points in this game than the opening game, but we will see if that pans out the same way.
Yeah, well, the Sharkies led in 30 plus a field goal, so 32. I think they'll be tightening up their defence this week. I think they'll be...
Mate, I don't think they've got a choice. Otherwise, they might have their pants pulled down.
Yeah, yep. Who are you tipping in that one, Tristan?
I think it's a really tight game. I probably just slightly err towards South Sydney, providing they haven't got too many bumps and bruises. I just think they are probably a side on the up, and I think that might just have taken the wind out of Cronulla's sails, that loss against the Cowboys. So, yeah, I'm with South Sydney in that game.
Yeah, my multi will reflect on it, and I'm going to go Cronulla. I've got them. You've got them obviously at the overs. I think Cronulla at playing in Sydney will help them. However, it's more of a Rabbitohs home ground, no travel, etc. But yeah, I'm going to go the Cronulla.
Should be a cracking couple of games of footy. Can't wait for Friday night and Saturday night. That is the only downside of the two games. You've got Thursday and all day Sunday to do nothing. Got to spend time with the kids and stuff now, so don't know if I like the idea of that.
Don't have a choice.
Thanks, Tristan. We appreciate you joining us, mate. Anything else you want to let the punters know before you sign off for the day?
No, I reckon that's it. We got a couple of good games of footy. Got the AFL, two good games of AFL prelim finals, and then the big racing in both Sydney and Melbourne on the weekend. So make sure you lock yourself in on the couch on the weekend so you can have a bet on the racing and the sport, and hopefully we get a couple of high quality footy games that we can all enjoy.
And as always, get on over to Top Sport, create yourself an account, and use the code SGM Podcast when you do. Thanks, mate. We'll chat next week for week 3 of the finals.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, buddy. See ya.
Cheers. Thanks.
All right.
Always comes through with the goods.
He's good, Tristan, isn't he? Good bloke. So always spares us a bit of time on Wednesday afternoons when we do the potties. So big shout out to him, and he's been great with the charity bets as well throughout the year.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Some good money going to go to those charities in a few weeks' time. So
hopefully a little bit more. We can top that up a little bit more.
It'd be good to top it up.
That'd be ideal,
mates. So we did our Top Sport top that moment of the round, our highlights. How about we have a look at any little low lights when we do our...
You are off. Don't talk to me. Just go.
Our send-off for the round. Who are you sending off, mate? I mean, there's already 7 sent from the field on Sunday, but we're going to add to it?
Yeah, it's going to be 8. It's going to be the Roosters in general. The Rabbitohs won because they played football. From the start, I don't care what anyone says. Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, and here's mine. The Roosters, from the first whistle, from the first kick of the game, went out there to try and bash South Sydney. South Sydney, although it's arguably probably one of the worst games of football I've ever seen. It was a smash-up derby, and I think that was the plan from the start. However, got in amongst it, say, for the first 20 minutes. Then the Rabbitohs are going, right, that's enough from us. Let's get on with it. Now, at the same time, it wasn't like this thuggery sort of stuff. Now, I love me some JWH, Victor Radley, etc. But it was more so that they were trying to target said players or said individuals rather than playing football. And I think that hurt them big time, because you get people like Hargraves and stuff. There was 2 or 3, mate. Everyone knows that he's a live wire. And will snap if you fire him up. And in that case, I didn't have to fire him up. Now, I'm a massive fan of him leading, protecting the little guys, particularly protecting the little guys, especially when you've got smaller halves like the Roosters do, your Kearys and young Walker. But At the same time, you've got to draw the line and just punch the ball up through the middle. Instead, he was too busy trying to head slam. He was leading with elbows and whatever else, mate. Just play football, but at the same time, play hard football. I don't have a problem with that. If you got that little bit of niggle in the ruck, I don't have an issue with that. But just when you're going out there purely rather than to play football, than to try and get one up on your opponent, look what happened.
Yeah, I think the red mist came over, and that's all he could see. To be honest, he couldn't clear it.
Exactly
clear
right.
it out.
You know, and as I said, not that I condone what they did, but at the same time, I do like that hard style of football. And by all means, I will stand up for him if he stands up for protecting his little players. But at the same time, when he was just trying to get a square up, and so was Victor Radley and a couple other players. And mate, in my eyes, South, put that in the back pocket 20, 30 minutes in. And look at the result. Speaks for itself.
Yeah. I was a bit the same with the game. At the time, I enjoyed it because it was such, everything was happening. It was chaos. But then when you look back at the game, it wasn't actually a very good game of football.
No.
I don't think there wasn't much quality football played. Someone said, might have been Corey Parker last night on NRL 360, said it went for 202 minutes.
Yeah. It was
it's ridiculous.
I looked at me watch, and it was 6 o'clock, and there was still 9.5 minutes to go. There was two tries that went upstairs to the bunker. So I'm not sure the exact time, but the old Channel 9 newsreader, mate, he would have been stressing. He would have been all out of rhythm.
Yeah, not wrong. I don't know. I was a bit the same. I just felt that it was so stop-start, didn't have any real rhythm to it. There was no fatigue in it. So you have guys like your Sammy Walkers, even though Cody Walker played really well, but they kind of didn't get brought into the game too much because the forwards just kept getting rests here, there, and everywhere. So, yeah, interesting. Hopefully we don't have another game like that this weekend. I don't think we will. And I don't think we'll ever see 7 sin bins again in one game. Record.
Mate, don't hold your breath. Could happen.
The way it's going.
The way it's going. And actually, one thing I think he sort of meant it. He meant it with serious intentions, and at the same time to have a little bit of a laugh. But James Graham said, I think it was on Fox League, said that if someone stays down in the sense that Latrell Mitchell did, bring out the stretcher. Because realistically, how do you know they don't have a spinal injury? Take all precautions into account. When you start carrying people off, they'll stop laying down.
Pardon me. Very good. We were hoping Mr. Cherry would be here by now, but he's not. He must have got held up at work. So we'll get right into beer of the week, thanks to the Whitebull Hotel each and every week. Great sponsors of the show. They give the boys a 6-pack of beer, cider or spirits to sample and give you their stubby lid rating. And they've done that this week. What have they fixed up with, mate?
They've given us the Strongbow low-carb cider, apple cider that is too. 1.3 standard, so it is classed as a heavy, 330 mils in a bottle. So be very careful how many you have if you're going burning behind the wheel. So driving responsibly, drinking responsibly. It tastes like wine.
Yeah, true.
It's mate, I don't know if I'm a big fan of it, to be honest. It tastes like I'm not a big fan of white wine at all, but it tastes like it just tastes like wine. I don't know if I'm a fan. It's a twist top, so there's a half a star. And that's all they're going to get.
Half a star.
No, it's if it's something you're into, if you're drinking ciders, pears and apple ciders and whatever else there is, mate, by all means get down there and have a crack. It might be something you like, low carb, looking after your figure, but it's just it's not my.
Well, that's exactly why Mr. Hawkeye gave it to us. He thought that we're all looking after our figures, so low carb.
So, well, look, I'll be honest. I'll give it half a star because it's an easily accessed. I'm going to give it 1.5.
1.5, not too bad. I'm sure Mr. Cherry would probably second that, and he'd give it a fairly high stubby lid rating, knowing Ches and his side is.
Honest to God, it just tastes like wine. It is terrible. But I mean, if you're into that sort of stuff, get around it.
Head on down to the Whitebull, get yourself a 6-pack of them.
Drive through, don't even have to get out of your wagon. Just pull up,
fantastic.
See Hawkeye and the boys down there, and get yourself some refreshments. If not that, find something you like.
Yeah, plenty down there, so I'm sure you'll find something that you do like. We'll take a quick little break, come back and talk some footy the other side. Hopefully the big fella will be joining us. Stick around.
Having a bet on sport this week? Top this.
Whether you're into cricket and curling or golf and greyhounds, Top Sport will let you on for plenty. And with literally hundreds of markets from your own backyard to the international stage, Top Sport has you well covered. So if you want to get the top odds every time, bet with Top Sport.
Top that. Download the app today. Top Sport. Feel the excitement.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
All right, I told you he'd be here after the break. He has joined us. Welcome aboard, Mr. Matthew Mark Cherry.
Afternoon, boys.
How's the week been so far?
Very long. Just recovering from the weekend.
How
So
good.
it's the third day. Had a very, very good weekend with Mr. Burton. We went away. We did for a couple of nights, and I'm still fucking sore now.
hey, just please elaborate why you saw him. What bloody make me? No, we went to a town very close, Tamworth, for some people who may or may not know, and we played in a darts competition. Mr. Ches over here ran fourth of 120 blokes, and I was in the top 32. I made it to the knockout 32 and then got absolutely pumped. And then in the doubles the next day, we were both at hung. Too many beers.
Sorry, you are?
Yeah, we're too hungover, and
okay.
And we could barely hit a number to save ourselves, but it was good fun. Good fun.
Yeah, that 8 o'clock start in the second day didn't help, did
Yeah,
it?
Jeez, that's a bit rough.
8 a.m. on Sunday after drinking. The bar opened at 8:30, so we peeled the scab off one at 8:30, and
I had to stop in the car park at about 1:15.
yeah. So
A long day.
so drinking heavies all day too. He's drinking new, so blew his head off. But yeah, no, it was a good weekend. It was good.
Very good. I'm glad you survived, and I'm glad you joined us, mate, for the to talk some footy. We're going to talk finals week 2. Got a couple of great games. First up, boys, we've got the Parramatta Eels up against the Canberra Raiders. Friday, 7:50 p.m. at CommBank Stadium. Looking at this one, boys, the Eels are the favourite here at $1.49. The Raiders $2.65. The line is set at 6.5. $1.90 each way. You can get the Eels at the minus or the Raiders at the plus. We touched on it before with Tristan Birdo, but I'll get your thoughts, Ches. Thoughts on the Raiders last week and Parramatta's performance last week?
I can give you a little review on the Parramatta one. I watched a bit of the Raiders game. I can't remember a thing.
Yeah, we were
honestly,
blind.
I'm fucking hammered. I thought Parramatta were a bit hard done by there last weekend. I think one of their tries definitely should not have been a try. That was when Jerome Luai knocked the ball on. Then it got set up by Fisher Harrison, Big Moses Leota for Tyre to cross, I think it was. And they showed the replay. I was watching the highlights, at the end of on KO, finishing my beer. And then that play come on. I thought, wait a minute. Rewound it a bit. And they didn't have the right camera angle to see it from straight on. But I'm 99% sure Jerome Luai knocked that ball on.
If it's the one very similar, a bloke I know actually messaged me when it happened. At the time, I didn't message back because I had steam coming out of my ears. But they said there was one of them where Wonga Blake's going to regather the ball after he completely missed it, went clean through his hands, and Jerome Luai grabbed his hands and pulled his right hand away so he couldn't get another grab. But that very same bloke too, he's got a shout out there for you, Ches, too. He sent me a message. He goes, do us a favour and let Ches know on air. Benny Blackswell thinks the best thing since sliced bread is that the Roosters got knocked out.
Fighting words. Any response?
Who's their support?
We'll let you gather your
St
thoughts.
George supporter. This is also the dude that bet me at the start of the season, a carton of Jemison, that St George will finish higher than Parramatta.
Well, he's full of fucking brains, isn't he?
He's a big supporter of the show.
Yeah, get that
we
up
do
there.
love him. A bit of friendly banter back and forth. We do love it. Boys, thoughts on this game? How do you see this one playing out? Can you see the Raiders causing an upset, or do you think Parramatta are going to be too strong?
I think Parra's going to be too strong with this one. I think they're going to really, really come back after last week. Like I said, I thought they were a bit hard done by. There was a few calls there I disagreed with anyway. And I just feel that they're just too good for the Raiders at the moment. Like I said last week, Raiders got into the 8 just, where Parra have been there for the whole year. So they've really got something to play for. Their expectations will probably be realistically making the final. So
I'm a little bit different, boys. I actually quite like the Raiders at $2.65, to be honest. Looking at the odds there, thanks to Top Sport. Couple of reasons why. I think last week, obviously, Moses got knocked out. I think they were leading 8-7, and I don't know if they scored a point after that, did they?
No.
So that didn't help their cause. He's going to play this week. But I just wonder what that loss did to their psyche, Parramatta psyche last week. And also the Raiders, we speak about they just scraped into the 8, which is true, don't get me wrong, but they've kind of been playing that do-or-die football for the last 6 weeks. So it's a bit more familiar to them, I suppose you can say. Parramatta now, they're going to have 1986 weighing on their mind. Last 5-6 years of finals weighing on their mind. If we lose this, we're out in straight sets, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just like the momentum of the Raiders, to be honest. And at the line, plus 6.5, I've actually got that in my multi. So
yeah, well, as you said, the Raiders are just scraped in, and this is my biggest fear. But also being a Parramatta supporter, this is my biggest fear in this game. Is when we said they only just scraped into the 8, they didn't just scrape in on the way down like Brisbane might have. They scraped in on the way up, so they were carrying momentum, beating Melbourne in Melbourne, mate. Get around that.
Yeah.
So I reckon the wind will be in their sails, but in my eyes, and I take my para glasses off when I say it, I think we'll be way too strong. I don't think we have a choice to, but at the same time, when you say they've had 86 and the last, we haven't had a Peter Sterling since Peter Sterling on Mitchell Moses' shoulders also at the same time. Just remember, the Raiders are in a very similar situation. They've made finals. They made a grand final not long ago. Take it how you want. As to the outcome, and how it came about with the 6 again, but at the same time, there's pressure on every side. If there's someone with a lot of pressure on this weekend, I get a funny feeling it's Cronulla, even though they probably shouldn't be. I just get a funny feeling that the pressure is going to be on Cronulla. But boys, in my eyes, I think this, and I'll reflect on it later on when I talk about it. But I think both sides that lost, Parramatta and Cronulla, I reckon they'll be all the more better for it.
We're going to do things a little bit different this week with our multis. Usually we just do one person does a multi per game, but obviously there's only 2 games. So what we're going to do, boys, is we're each going to give a multi for both the games. And we've also got one from the Guru for both the games. So little bit of special insight there from the Guru. Who wants to kick us off for this game?
Yeah, I'll lead it. My multi for this one, I've gone Parramatta 13 plus, Micah Sevo anytime try scorer, total points over 41.5, and Parramatta to be the first team to score, $6.18.
Yeah, not bad. I'll read you out the Gurus, and then I'll do mine, then you can do yours, Ches. So for this one, he has gone Jack Whiten, anytime try scorer, Dylan Brown, anytime try scorer, and over 41.5 total points for 19.26.
Gee, that's all right. That's
pretty
really
good for 3 legs. The 2.58s to get across the line. We all know that they do like getting across that white stripe. Over 41.5 points, 19.26 there, so not too shabby. For me, I've gone Sean Lane to get across, Sebastian Chris to get across, and I've also taken the Raiders here at plus 6.5, so at the line for 23.50. So crack that $20 mark for a 3-legger, which is fantastic. So really hoping that one might come up. Ches?
Like to borrow your phone, mate. I left my phone inside. I do remember 2 of them. I've gone Parramatta the straight head-to-head, Micah Sevo anytime try scorer, and Nick Kotrick. And that was paying $7.01.
So a bit of variety there for you. So you have a look through that. We'll have it on the screen. We've had it on the screen while we've been chatting. See what you think. See who you might like in that. Let us know too if you do happen to choose the Gurus or Birdos or whoever's, and let us know if it does get up for you. We really be interested to hear that. Final pick, boys. I'm going to go the Raiders.
Para by 14.
Para by 14. So Lone Wolf here going the Raiders all by himself. But should be a cracking game of football. I'm really looking forward to that one on Friday night. So hopefully it is. Boys, Saturday, the last game of the round, unfortunately. Allianz Stadium, 8 o'clock here on Saturday night, Allianz Stadium. Sharkies up against the Rabbitohs. Bit of a home ground advantage there for the Rabbitohs, you would think. Head-to-head, the Sharkies are $2.02, Rabbitohs $1.81. The line is set at 1 flat, $1.90 each way here at the plus for the Sharkies, or minus for the Rabbitohs. Thoughts?
I'm going to say Cronulla. I'm going to tip Cronulla. My multi will also reflect on that. At the same time, give credit where credit's due. Ches, you're probably not going to like, if you listen back to the first segment, I basically said that in my eyes, I thought that, what would you say, both sides started off in a thug fest. The only thing was that in my eyes, determined the result was the fact that the Rabbitohs stopped playing so much thuggery and started playing a little bit more football. Unfortunately, had players like Waria Hargraves and Victor Radley that were still in that little thuggery sort of stage, and they just got lost in that rather than trying to focus on the football. Now, at the same time, I tell you what, that old bash fest and mate, I reckon that's taken more out of the Rabbitohs. In my eyes, that's taken more out of the Rabbitohs. Was that hard, mate? That's a physical game for all involved than that 93-minute. Because, when you look at it, 93 minutes is it played longer, so 13 minutes longer than normal. But at the same time, it wasn't that physicality where people are getting knocks and bumps. And I tell you what, there's some big hits in that game. Don't worry about that. So I think, in my eyes, I think Cronulla will be the fresher side out of the two of them, and that my multi reflect on that.
Yeah, which sounds weird. Like you said, they played 13 minutes longer, but I understand what you're saying. It wasn't as that impact and bruising and soreness and all that kind of stuff. So I understand what you're saying about being the fitter side there, Mr. Cherry.
And they'll have a day less turnaround.
Yeah, true.
I'm back in Sharkies on this one.
Yeah.
Half it's by spite, I guess.
Yeah.
To be honest. But Nico Hines, he's been playing out of his skin. He's always such a creative player. Really good to watch. I was going to have him in my try, in my multi for a try, but I held back. I've got a feeling there's going to be lots of try assists from him. I think he's going to sort of get targeted and maybe use that as an advantage. He'll have a few little sneaky little flick balls and stuff coming our way. But I just think that the Sharkies are, even though they lost last week, they've had a good run, and well deserved to be where they are, especially with their players. You've got the big Finucane back as well. He was back last week, wasn't he? He strolled back on, so he'll be up there taking on the likes of Cam Murray and the rest of the big boys there. The only trouble I've got is South getting on one of those runs that they do when they just seem to just come out and they just play freakish football for about 20, 25 minutes, and no matter what anyone does, they just can't be stopped. So I think that'll be worrying the Sharkies as well, but I think overall Sharkies should have them. Yeah,
and that's why I'm picking the Rabbitohs. I'm actually going against you as well for this one. But similar to what you just said, Ches, about that, I just think they're playing a better brand of footy at the moment. I can see them really sort of powering on from last week and the confidence that they would have got out of that win against the Roosters, given that they got beat the week before that, and taking that into this game. I think not so much the extra minutes of that game, but that loss to the Cowboys, I think that's going to hit the Sharkies hard. And to be honest, I think whoever lost that game last week between the Sharks and the Cowboys, I feel that they were going to lose this game anyway, whether it was the Cowboys or the Sharks. I just feel that they had to win that game to advance through. So I'm picking the Rabbitohs, boys. I'm going against you again, unfortunately. So
yeah, well, come Saturday evening,
we'll know, won't we?
We'll know.
Yep. And then that'll lead into obviously week 3, where the Cowboys get to host that home semi-final, which that'll
be massive for them too. How good's that? That's another positive too, as bad as it sounds for Cronulla, but that's massive for the game to take a prelim up there.
Yeah.
But again, it's unfortunate for Cronulla as well. If they had have made it through to the prelim, they weren't going to play at home either. So a bit of a shame, but give them a bit of time and they get that stadium up to scratch, and that'll soon change.
All right, same thing we're going to do here. We're going to read out 4 multis. Berto, you may as well. We'll keep the same order, so you go first, mate.
Right, I'll hit it. I'm going to go Cronulla 1-12. I think it'll be a tight game, but I think Cronulla will come through with the Chockies. Connor Tracy, anytime try scorer, and I've gone Cronulla halftime margin plus 0.5 of a point. So basically, they'll be winning by a point at halftime. So to make that a little bit simpler, Cronulla to be leading by more than 1 point at halftime, Connor Tracy anytime try scorer, and Cronulla to be winning 1-12 at full time, $8.05.
Yeah, nice little 3 legs. Something different there too. You go searching through Top Sport. They've got plenty of markets you can have a look at. Find yourself something a little bit interesting. Keep that game interesting as well. Boys, for the Guru, he's gone Tane Milne, anytime try scorer. Britton Nakora, anytime, and also over 42.5 points. He thinks there's going to be plenty scored for $12.11. As for me, I've gone over 42.5 points as well. I think there'll be plenty of points scored here. AJ, 2 or more in that left-hand side. And Jesse Ramian to get across the line for a try as well. $12.14 for me. Mr. Cherry needs to borrow my phone again. There you are, Squire.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I've gone Sharks just head to head. Andrew Eddinghausen anytime. Oh, wait a minute. That's an old one. Sharkies head to head. Alex Johnson and Mr. Bright Eyes Brighton Nakora anytime. That's paying $12.69. So I've got similar odds to the Guru for those 3 legs. So
That's good.
Very generous.
Good to see you had Andrew Eddinghausen in there too, mate.
Yes, mate.
What's he? I think he's third or fourth on the all-time try scoring list. So
AJ's hunting them down. He's hunting them
mate,
all down.
at a rapid pace too, and
Yep.
good on him. Odds if they had the same game multi back then, I tell you what, that it'd be Andrew Eddinghausen, mate. I reckon you wouldn't get anything over $1.40 any time try score for him. He was fairly ferocious when it come to scoring tries, and good on him.
What we're going to do, boys? Actually, we'll get our tip. I'm going the Rabbitohs, Sharks.
I'll go the Great Whites.
Yeah, Cronulla.
Yeah, fair enough. What we're going to do, we've got a bit of money left over in our charity bet account. This is where we usually get the Guru's special bet of the round. Something a little bit different for the finals. What we're going to do, we've each picked a leg. We're going to do one of our combined multis. Mr. Jared Burton, I need you to pop this into Top Sport whilst we're speaking, if you can.
Well, I've got the app.
Yours was?
Mine's Mika Sevo anytime I took one of my legs out of the Parramatta game.
We'll give you a bit of time to put all this in.
Yeah, yep. Hit me. Next one.
So this is the Gurus. In the Cronulla Rabbitohs game, he's gone over 42.5 points.
Wait, I've gone off early. Micah Sevo, anytime try scorer.
Add that in, yeah. Over 42.5 points in the Cronulla Rabbits game. That's the Gurus' contribution.
Over, yep.
I'm going Cody Walker, anytime try scorer. And whatever your leg is, mate.
Cody Walker, anytime. And I'm going to go Cronulla head to head. 4 legs, boys. All up. Micah Sevo, anytime try scorer. The points over 42.5 in the Cronulla game. Cody Walker, anytime try scorer. Cronulla head to head, $22.02.
How many?
22. Hey,
Dollary dues.
hey, Richie Beno be in his prime. $22.02. Chew for 22.
Oh, pardon me.
Oh, you won't see that very often, will you?
Fantastic. So some great odds there, thanks to Top Sport. As I said, get on over, support a great company. They support this show. So if you do like this show and you want to keep it going into next year, we need that support from you guys as well, supporting our sponsors such as Top Sport and the Whitebull and the like. Boys, anything else before we wrap her up? Week 2 of the finals, all done and dusted.
Oh, I got the Gallon fight on tomorrow night.
Oh, is it? Is that tomorrow
I think
night?
I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow night. They had the
Thursday night.
weigh-ins last night, it must have been, and a couple of early ones were thrown.
Yeah, they were actually.
So,
At the,
they did a scramble up on stage, and then a few words were said, but I think Justin Hodges won't be talking much after tomorrow night.
No, I
I
think
think he might be put through the ropes and out in the car park, I reckon.
I still can't believe that fight's been sanctioned. How can you
Yeah.
fight 2 blokes in the one night? It's just crazy anyway.
oh, I'm loving it. Get amongst it, bash a lot of them, and then when you're done, get Phil Gould in there and do him as well.
How much is it on pay-per-view? Probably $106 or something like
I
that.
just watch the highlights on YouTube, mate. I'm not paying those prices. It'd
Nah,
be
nah.
like $60, $70 or something.
Yeah, last time I got one, I think it was about $60 for that fight. If you get the good fights, obviously. And now I will say, when you get the good fights, because that's going to be trash tomorrow, regardless. Depends on the result. It might be worth $60, but I'd say about $60. Yeah.
So the trouble is, I remember years ago we paid for one of those main events. I'm trying to remember what fight it was. And it was over real early. So, and there was a bit of a delay. So we're waiting around. The main fight finally come on, and it was a short one. Like there was a stoppage.
Yep.
And it
I
went
know
for
exactly
about
what you're talking about.
So you're paying like $70 and you're watching the boxing for about
Yeah.
5-6 minutes.
We put on a spread when I was living in a share house with a couple of mates. We put on a spread and whatever else. Got all the boys around there on the beers for Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo, and it went all of about 8 seconds. 13 seconds. So Aldo got folded, and thanks for coming. So, but we stayed around and drank beer anyway. And
Finished it off. All right, that's about it, boys. That's a wrap.
That's the wrap.
That's a wrap.
I think that's everything.
Still got the footy
else
tipping
we can
going. We'll do our winners again next week. We've got that again this week. Hopeless, as always. I can't think of anything else. We're just rambling on, so may as well.
don't eat soup with a fork's the main thing.
Enjoy the football, 2 games, some great footy. Let us know if you do get one of our multis up, or even your own multi. We do love to hear from it. All our listeners as well. So make sure you send us a message. Any of the socials, subscribe. on all the YouTube and all the other stuff that you can subscribe. We really do appreciate that. Hopefully got some exciting things happening in the off-season of the footy, so make sure you stick around for that as well. But enjoy the footy this week. If you do have a punt, please do so responsibly. And as the Mr. Bertman just said, if you do eat your soup, don't eat it with a fork. We'll catch you next week.
You get that one out?
Bye.